The newest WikiLeaks email dump may leave a sour taste in the mouths of voters. The newest release of emails from Hillary Clinton's campaign chairman, John Podesta, shows the Clinton campaign lashing out at many groups, including the Democratic Party. Fox News chief national correspondent Ed Henry has the story.
Hillary Clinton campaigns publicly on a theme of stronger together.
I am reminded of what my friend Michelle Obama advised us all. When they go low, you go high.
Except a flood of emails suggests that in private, her advisors like to tee off on everyone, from Catholics to Latinos and Southerners. And as another 2,000 hacked emails emerged today from John Podesta's Gmail account, we also learned about behind-the-scenes infighting and outright hostility within Clinton's own inner circle. When New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio praised Bernie Sanders during the Democratic primary and again hedged on his eventual endorsement of Clinton, campaign manager Robbie Mook lashed out, writing, quote, "Wow, what a terrorist." Clinton's communications director, Jennifer Palmieri, piled on, responding, "Told you so." And Podesta also set his sights on one of Clinton's other closest advisors, Sid Blumenthal. Podesta ripping Blumenthal to a friend. "Sid is lost in his own web of conspiracies. I pay zero attention to what he says." Beyond the inside baseball, Clinton aides actually slammed various segments of the electorate, including progressives and other voters they need to turn out next month. Clinton advisors called supporters of Bernie Sanders self-righteous whiners. Podesta, meanwhile, fired off an email telling aide Huma Abedin that Clinton needed to reach out to some, quote, needy Latinos, like party leader Bill Richardson. All on top of Palmieri's email with anti-Catholic comments, and Clinton's own crack about half of Donald Trump's supporters being a basket of deplorables.
This WikiLeaks stuff is unbelievable. It tells you the inner heart. You got to read it, and you got to maybe get it because they're not putting it out.
One person the Clinton camp appears to have good rapport with is Attorney General Loretta Lynch, who oversaw that nettlesome FBI investigation of Clinton's server that ultimately led to no charges. In the run-up to Lynch's confirmation hearings, Abedin boasted of Clinton's rapport with Lynch, telling Palmieri she knows Loretta, not an extremely close relationship and don't remember last time they connected, but continued, regardless, definitely a cordial relationship. Yet in September 2015, Clinton staffers seemed to strike a negative tone on their own candidate. After an interview with NBC's Andrea Mitchell about the email server, some staffers expressed relief about Clinton doing better than they expected. In an email chain titled "She Rocked It," Palmieri wrote, "I actually cried a little bit with relief." Clinton advisor Neera Tanden followed up saying she didn't seem like a bitch in the interview.
Now, I'm not sure if that last expletive counts as locker room talk or not, but it's very interesting how these emails are showing Team Clinton dumping not just on Republicans, but calling Bernie Sanders folks self-righteous whiners just days after we heard that audio tape of Clinton at a fundraiser dismissing the Sanders diehards as baristas at Starbucks who live in their parents' basements. In the end, it doesn't seem to matter right now. She's still winning, Britt.
Well, she certainly is, but these glimpses are pretty fascinating.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Good to see you.
Here now with their reaction to the whole WikiLeaks dump is our nightly political panel. Byron York, chief political correspondent at the Washington Examiner, and Bill Kristol, editor of the Weekly Standard. Gentlemen, it seems from our poll that the reaction to the WikiLeaks matter is not hurting Hillary Clinton in anything like the same way that these recent revelations about Donald Trump have. What do you think about them, Bill?
Well, it's not clear why they should. I mean, it's reassuring if you're a moderate that they think Bernie Sanders supporters are self-righteous whiners and that, you know, that she's not too enamored of the left wing of the Democratic Party. And otherwise, it's a bunch of politicos being politicos, honestly. I mean, I don't think there's much there that would change a voter's mind.
Well, a lot of this is just kind of fun gossip. They refer to their base as the Red Army, which is kind of amusing. The things they say about Sidney Blumenthal are amusing. But the thing that really is a serious issue is the email that leaked some of her speeches, some of the paid speeches she made, in particular the one where she talked about open borders. That's a real thing. It's a real policy. It's something a better candidate than Donald Trump could use against her a lot. It would certainly score with the Republican base. Plus the other speech in which she basically said, I have a private position on things and a public position on things. Those two things were actually damaging, one on a position, the other on an attribute of honesty. The rest has been mostly just amusing.
Yeah,
just for a second, Bill, I'm going to put up a poll here that you may or may not want to refer to, but it's the favorability ratings of the two candidates, which comes in the aftermath of these leaks about her and what she and her aides were talking about, and what we've heard about Donald Trump. And it shows that Trump has really lost some fairly serious ground in terms of personal favorability. He's underwater now by, if we can get it up there, that'd be great, but he's underwater. She's underwater by about 5 points. Right, he's underwater by 23 points in that, which does suggest that the WikiLeaks matter doesn't, for all that Byron has said about it, which I think is fairly, these are not inconsequential revelations, and it shows you why she didn't want the transcripts of those speeches released. I guess it's that videotape trumps anything as text, right? Yeah, well, also, Byron alluded to this, Donald Trump is not talking about it. I mean, if this were a normal Republican campaign, the candidate would be on message day after day on the open borders question, on letting in all the refugees, tax hikes. There are several issues where Republicans have the advantage over Secretary Clinton. I mean, she has a kind of standard liberal Democratic view, has to defend the Obama administration's failed policies in certain ways. But you don't hear much about that because Donald Trump is busy attacking the women who have criticized him and attacking the media and attacking the establishment and so forth. The other thing is, I do think people do have a sense that, I don't know if they have a sense or not, but the WikiLeaks thing is kind of astonishing that we're sitting here talking about it. WikiLeaks is not, in my view, a reputable organization. I mean, they've been leaked, so of course we're going to talk about them. They seem to be not doctored documents. Although we may not approve of the process, and we may think, as the Clinton camp claims, that Russia's behind all this, which has become their basic line of defense. Hey, this is Russia. Russia's a bad guy, therefore you should doubt these. But they haven't, to my knowledge, they haven't criticized or disputed the authenticity of a single one of these. No, I agree with that. But Donald Trump, I think, if he wished to talk about them, should probably preface talking about them by saying he doesn't approve of foreign governments meddling in American elections. But now that we know what Hillary Clinton really thinks about immigration and other issues, you can't ignore it. Yeah.
It's exactly what Rudy Giuliani said today, by the way, introducing Trump in West Palm Beach. He said, you know, I don't know if I feel good about how these came out, but I'm glad we've got them. The other thing is the press treatment of them. There have been various times in the campaign in which many people in the press said, boy, we would really pay a lot of attention to these latest Clinton email allegations, except for what Trump is doing. Or we'd pay a lot of attention to the latest on the Clinton Foundation, except for what Trump is doing. And now, with these Podesta emails, they're saying the same thing. They would pay more attention to them were Trump not making so much news. So basically that's the media saying we can't walk and chew gum at the same time. There you go.
But these are staff emails, and I myself was a staff guy, so I'm interested in John Podesta, you know, gabbing with Jennifer Palmieri about what they really think about people. But as you pointed out, with regard to those speeches, that wasn't staff. No, that is. And so I mean, they were contained in a staff email, but the details are about what she said and verbatim to these groups of rich people, right? Right, and that's what, if I were the Trump campaign, that's what they should be focused on, but they're busy doing other things. And those audio tapes are, and the audio tape and then the women coming forward is more dramatic, obviously, than some speech she gave to Wall Street Group 3 years ago. It is almost too perfect, though, for the tape come out describing a kind of action toward women, and then women come forward and say, he did that kind of action on me, 4 of them at about the same time. It doesn't necessarily make you think they're wrong, but the timing does look a little unusual. It makes one think that the opponent campaign perhaps was well organized to take advantage at least of something that was going to come out from friendly media sources, again, which is something that the Trump campaign seems not to do much of, right?
But it's also a Trump decision. I mean, he goes today, he makes a speech in West Palm Beach. He spends most of the speech talking about the allegations. He doesn't have his surrogates do that, and he stays on message on actual issues. He gets to, you know, Obamacare gets mentioned maybe 30 minutes in, close to the end, a little bit on taxes, a little bit on terrorism, but most of it, I mean, the great majority of it, on each of these allegations.
We'll have an opportunity to explore this question of what he might be doing that would be more effective a little later in the broadcast. We'll come back to you then.